2 years ago, the name Arthur Fleck hit Gotham like a hurricane.
The trial of the century.
They believe Arthur Fleck to be some kind of martyr. Well, he's not. There's a monster.
When you're smiling, when you're smiling,
When I first saw Joker, when I saw you,
the whole world smiles with you.
for once in my life, I didn't feel so alone anymore.
When you're laughing, oh, when you're laughing, the sun comes shining through. For once in my life, I have someone who needs me.
How about you, Arthur? Do you still think you're a star?
Showtime. The whole world smiles with you.
You can do anything you want.
The sun comes
You're Joker.
Look around! Look at all these people!
Bring on,
I will no longer allow any of you
so stop your sighing.
to keep me down.
Be happy again.
I got the sneaking suspicion that we're not giving the people what they want.
It's okay, baby. Let's give the people what they want. Sing hallelujah. Come on, get happy. Get ready for the judgment day.
I've waited all year, and finally it's here. For 30 straight days, it's a month-long movie craze. That's right, I'm ready to post a podcast each day. I watched a movie, and now I've got stuff to say. 'Cause movie month is here, yes dear, in case I wasn't clear. 30 movies, films that I've never seen. Cast, podcast, from first day of month to last. In June, all June, this is my movie month too. Been doing this for 12 years, I'll pause for applause and cheers. Okay, well, maybe not, but please follow all month long. Cause movie month is here, yes dear, in case I wasn't clear. 30 movies, films that I've never seen. Cast, podcast, from first day of month to last. In June, all June. Listen and subscribe is what you should do. Apple, Spotify, and yes, on YouTube. Listen and subscribe, come on, don't be rude. Listen and subscribe all June.
I started a joke which started the whole world crying. Oh, but I didn't see joke was on me. Oh no. And I started to cry, which started the whole.
Happy Sunday, everybody. It's Sunday, June 15th, which means for the 15th day in a row, I've watched a movie I've never seen, and for the 15th day in a row, I am here podcasting about it to you, the people of Earth. Ladies and gentlemen, today is Father's Day, and I'm going to bring this back. I'm going to make this work. I'm pretty sure the last movie that I went to see in the theater with my daddy was the 2019 Joker. I had to double check. I looked at, because I was like, "Do you want to go see it?" I think before that it was Fellowship of the Ring, and he's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I went to this with you." Then he wanted to see it, so we saw both It and It 2 Electric Boogaloo in the theater. But the It Chapter 2 came out a month before Joker, and we did go to Joker today. So, we did go to Joker when it came out. So today is Father's Day. I took my daddy, I'm going to keep saying it like that, to Joker. And today, to celebrate Father's Day, I cooked on the grill for him. Gave him some scratch tickets that, I think he won $5 whole on. And I watched Joker Folie et Deux. Folie et Deux. What the hell does Folie et Deux mean? Isn't it like double folly or folly, the day folly? Google Translate. Detect language. Folie et Deux. Crazy for two. Oh. And it works because it's crazy for two. Crazy for two. And it works that I'm singing randomly because it's part 2. And also, it's the craziness of Arthur and the craziness of Harley Quinn. I never thought they'd do this, first of all. The original Joker, 2019, was such an oddity. It was a cartoon, not a cartoon, it was a comic book movie based on a character from a comic book, but it was not part of any existing, franchise. It wasn't part of any world. It wasn't trying to build on anything. It wasn't trying to connect to anything. It was its own thing. It was like a passion project of Todd Phillips, the director, and Joaquin Phoenix, the star. I think. This is what at least I think of it. And I remember thinking, why are they doing this? We just went within a couple year span of, you had Dark Knight with Heath Ledger, just the iconic Joker act, the character. That it doesn't get better than that. Sorry, Joaquin. That was Joker against Batman, the way it should be. Then you got Jared Leto doing whatever he is, doing whatever that was going on there, which I didn't like. He tried, and it was something. It was different. It was weird. It wasn't great. But that was Joker also. And then it's like, oh, Todd Phillips is doing a Joker movie. Wait, what? So this is, of course, when DC is all over the place and James Gunn is trying to bring it all back together, but this is still off doing its own thing. It's like, this is the Elseworlds. This is the, we're going to make movies based on DC characters that aren't connected to the DC universe. I guess that's what I'm paraphrasing. And that's where Joker came out in 2019, which is before James Gunn, took over the DC studios. And it was this gritty 70s crime drama type film that aped off of Scorsese's New York to make Gotham, aped off of Scorsese's Taxi Driver, which I literally just watched for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and for an episode of Fine Movies, Fine Spirits that will be coming out very soon. I'm working on getting that edited and getting that out this week. And I talked about that with one of my co-hosts, Chris, who will be on a future episode of Movie Month. I think his first time. He's left messages, but this might be the first time he's officially going to be on Movie Month. But that's later this week. We'll talk about that. Actually, you'll hear from that on Thursday. More about that on Thursday. I've said too much. But he also said it also It also kind of borrows from King of Comedy, which is another De Niro Scorsese movie, which is like the guy thinking he's trying to be a stand-up comic, which is of course what Arthur Fleck wanted to be. But that kind of was like a lightning in a bottle type thing. It wasn't this big giant budget action comic book movie, but it took the world by storm. Made $335 million in the U.S., made over $1 billion worldwide, and won. I think Todd Phillips might have been up for Best Director, and Joaquin Phoenix won the friggin' Oscar for Best Actor. So what do you do with that? Well, you make a sequel. Now, I never thought it would happen because this felt like such a different type of movie. It didn't feel like a franchise. It didn't feel like a sequel was warranted. It didn't feel like a sequel was necessary. And it seems like the rest of the universe agreed with me, because 5 years later, we get Joker 2, or Joker Folie Deux, and it completely bombed. While the original made over $330 million in the U.S., the sequel made $58 million. And you can't blame COVID. You can't blame, like people not going back to theaters. This is 2024. People are back in the theater. This is the year of, actually, no, it's even before. It's the year after Barbie and Oppenheimer, right? That was summer 2023. So, like, the movies were back. Theaters were in full form again, for the most part. And it seemed like it was a good formula. Just like, because you have the directors back. You have Joaquin back from an Oscar-winning performance. You have a character back that a lot of people, loved, and maybe for the wrong reasons. Or people hated but appreciated, or people love to hate. And you've got Lady Gaga, who's a huge star, bringing in a new version of Harley Quinn, which is a very popular character from the cartoon. For those nerds who don't know, Harley Quinn originated from the friggin' Batman the Animated Series cartoon, which people still love to this day, and I need to go back and just watch all those, because I only watched a few when I shouldn't say age appropriate, but when I was the ripe age of a teen, I was like, oh, I should watch this, and I never did. Now that I'm, not really a teen anymore, I feel like I should go back and watch all of them, and I was starting to watch the Superman animated series, but I haven't gotten back to that in a while either. Someday I want to watch them all, It's goals of a 48-year-old man. I'm still 48 for a couple months, so please bear with me. I'm still in my youth. But Harley Quinn, from that, of course, then was brought into the comic books, and Margot Robbie played Harley Quinn in a couple Suicide Squad movies and in her own movie. And I believe that seems to have been, I shouldn't say that, because James Gunn did bring, that second Suicide Squad movie, and he might say, plus she's a huge star, and she was one of the better characters to come out of that whole quote-unquote Snyderverse. So she might be coming over, perhaps, maybe we haven't seen the end of her yet. I'm not sure exactly, but at the same time, that's what makes DC so confusing. Then at the same time, you have Lady Gaga doing it over here. It seemed like it was a formula for an interesting movie, and then it goes and bombs at the box office. Then it goes and gets, really bad reviews. Now, Rotten Tomatoes, you can give her. It's very confusing to me because Rotten Tomatoes gave it a score of 31%. I was like, wow, the last one did really good. Then I looked at the last one, and it was like 68%, I think I saw. So I said, oh, for some reason I would have thought it was higher. I really would have thought it was really higher, and it wasn't. It just connected with audiences, and people, went goo gaga for it, and they didn't go gaga for the one with Gaga. And then I read some of the reviews, and it's like, it said some positive things, but then this happens. And so it's very weird how the aggregator works in Rotten Tomatoes, because you read a headline from a score that has the big Rotten logo, and it starts reading positive things. So I guess it only has to be completely positive for it to be a tomato, or maybe at the final recommend. I don't know. I didn't read the reviews. I read the little quick synopses of these reviews. And I read them after the fact. I didn't know a great deal about this going in, except I heard they made a musical out of it, and I was like, well, what does that mean? Did they really do that? And yeah, they kind of really did. This was so bizarre to me because I went in, when I started this movie a couple hours ago, I have to tell you, I was excited to watch it. Because I was hesitant, like, oh, I'm going to make myself watch this. I want to see this. And then as I'm getting closer, I'm like, I kind of want to see what didn't work. If I can kind of see where it went wrong. If I could see, why audiences didn't respond. And it's weird because there's not really one glaring thing to me that didn't, like, oh my God, I can't believe that. Like, I was watching what was the movie I was watching the other day? The Venom 3, and I'm rolling my eyes left and right. And I'm like, this is, like really just poorly written, poor dialogue, and I'm watching this movie, and it didn't have that. It had the quality and the look of the first one, but for some reason they decided to just really add music to it, which is just strange. Now, they bring Gaga in, and I guess if you have Gaga, you're going to use Gaga. And it's funny because Arthur's singing like Arthur, and you got this woman, Harleen Quinzel, who sings like a friggin' angel. Almost maybe she was too good. And it was like, hey, Arthur, we're going to bring you to music class, because I wanted to bring you over there, because I think Brendan Gleeson played like one of the guards who was always around Arthur. And at one point he has to bring him through this minimum security area to go meet with his lawyer. And he sees a woman, and the woman looks out at him. And we know it's Gaga. And he's like, I'm going to bring you to that music class. I got you in there because you've been doing so good. Now, he was accused of killing 5 people. And he's like, I'm going to bring you to the music class because you're doing so good. And they're like, you want to sing too, don't you? And the guardian, Brendan Gleeson, singing a little bit too. And I was like, that easy? Like, that seemed convoluted. And then he meets Gaga, and they start talking, like, while Brendan Gleeson is singing around a piano. A little convoluted, little like unbelievable, like how this guy is a killer, and he's in like a high security ward of this police facility. I don't know if it's a prison / hospital. I'm not sure. I think it might just be a prison. I'm not sure. But he's able to just walk out and talk to Harley Quinn, and she tells him, I grew up in your neighborhood, and my parents abandoned me too, and all these things. Which I'm spoiling this movie for you. It's on Max if you want to see it. We found out it's all a lie. Sure, her father's alive. He's a doctor. Her parents did well. She checked herself into this hospital just to meet him, and checked herself out when she was ready to leave. Even though I guess she lit a fire, but no one would have known it was her. So that made Arthur like her even more. And she was in love with Arthur and loved the Joker. Loved Joker. She's like, you're Joker, you're Joker. Gets him to fire his lawyer, and then gets him, and the judge is like, well, there's nothing in the bylaws that says you can't dress the way you want to. So here's your suit and full makeup. Little silly. Like, but I'm not going to make you make a circus of this courthouse. And it was said in earnest, where it's like, it wasn't tongue-in-cheek, but, I mean, he made a circus of the courthouse. So there are things in it that were a little like, well, that seems ridiculous. But there were other things where I'm like, I don't like. It was trying to think of like things, because I didn't hate this movie. There were flaws, definitely flaws. At one point we're getting a courtroom drama, which I thought was interesting. I thought Joaquin Phoenix still did a great job, but it was, again, it's like, remember that thing that was amazing that, you know, people thought was like, were blown away by how weird it was and how engaging and how like memorable it was? Do that again. But this time, just kind of be into singing. And, you know, remember that woman you were obsessed with? She'll show up, you know, for one moment. Zazie Beetz is in it for one moment. But it's funny because as much as a major part as she was in the first movie, in reality, her character wasn't a major part. It was just all in Arthur's head. So they brought back a couple people from the first one. I think one of his doctors. They brought back Zazie Beetz. They brought back his old boss, who he killed all those people in front of in the cab driver scene. That was a pretty good scene. Like, there were things. Oh, and Arthur decides to defend himself. There's crowds outside who love him. And at some point, this is where I got really, like, the thing that bothered me. Well, I shouldn't say the thing that bothered me the most, but I was like, wait, what? He is into this the whole time. He is being, you know, the Joker. He's convincing people that there's two parts of me. There's this and that. And so he's going for the insanity defense. And then at one point, he says too much about the guards. The guards come beat him up. Another guy melts off, this young guy who's always been friendly with Arthur, and it seems like they kill him. The next day, Arthur goes to court, and he pulls up his bench like he's going to do a stand-up routine, and he just kind of goes, you know what? There isn't two. It's just been me. There's no Joker. It's just Arthur Fleck the whole time. I was like, where did that come from? Just because they killed that guy, I guess? And just because of that, Lady Gaga's like, I don't like you anymore, and she leaves the courthouse. And then a bomb goes off. I'm like, what? And then we get a cool shot, because we get a wonder of the bomb, Arthur waking up from the bomb, walking out through the rubble, walking out into the street, getting found by like some sycophants who follow him, throwing them in a car, going with him in the car. He gets out of the car, runs down the street. We follow him for a while, and then he walks off. Where does he walk to? He walks to the steps. To the steps that he had this big dance on, the big memorable dance in the first movie. And who's there? Harley Quinn. Now, at one moment, he leaves her a message, and she puts a gun to her head, and we think, oh, is she going to kill herself? No, she just cuts her hair. And she's on the steps. Why is she on the steps? I don't know. She just happens to be there. Did she set the bomb off and think he's going to come here? She said, I live in your apartment now. I live in your apartment building now, because she is another sycophant who's obsessed with him. We do find out she has a psychiatrist degree. So I thought, hey, oh, yeah, there's Dr. Harleen Quinzel. But she waits for him there, and she's like, hey, Arthur, you said the Joker's no more. There is no Joker. So, goodbye, and leaves him. And then the cops show up and take him back to prison. And then he's like, Arthur, you have a visitor. One of the guards say it. And then this young guy who we've seen kind of looking around every so often. I'm like, what is the significance of this guy? He tells a joke, and he goes, you know what the guy said to the clown? You get what you deserve. And then he stabs Arthur, and Arthur dies on the floor, and that's how the movie ends. I'm like, really? I thought was going to show up Harvey Dent, because Harvey Dent's in this the whole time, and if everyone knows who Harvey Dent is, not that douchebag Aaron Eckhart, but the character Harvey Dent, of course, Tommy Lee Jones played him the best. Never mind Aaron Eckhart was on the best movie. That guy gets on my nerves. But we just got Harvey Dent, right? Until the explosion. And then when you see the explosion go off, at one moment, Arthur gets up and he looks over and he sees Dent, and Dent's lying there like, half of his face has all scars and is injured from the explosion. The other half's fine. He's got two faces. So I thought maybe at the end he was going to show up and be like, Arthur, I need to talk to you. Like, I've gone crazy. But instead, I think the whole thing was a ploy to get Arthur out and so he could be alone and be stabbed. I should have known. Well, they set you up. This is a different movie because the movie opens up with the WB logo and and then we get a cartoon starring the Joker, me and my shadow, with him fighting with the shadow and stuff. Like an old movie. Like an old movie, you'd see a cartoon at the beginning and then the movie starts. And it's weird because the music, sometimes they're singing to each other, but a lot of the time is all in Arthur's head. And it's like an excuse for him and Lady Gaga to sing together on like a variety show, and him and Lady Gaga to sing together and fall in love. And did she say I'm pregnant? And I don't know if that's real. I mean, it was definitely somewhat bloated, somewhat sloppy, somewhat good, somewhat bad. It was just a lot of middling. 31% on Rotten Tomatoes means that a third of the people gave it a positive review. And I get that, because I saw things and I was like, I don't hate this. I don't like, but then the other things I'm like, oh, they're doing this? Why are they doing this? Like the thought of unnecessary came up sometimes. The thought of like indulgent. Oh, we're doing this because look how wild we are. Look at what we're doing with this character now. But then there were things where I was like, oh, that's clever, or that's, interesting. And the performances were all good. For the, I can't think of one that was bad. The guy who played Harvey Dent was all right. He was a little like, and who's in the courtroom? Like almost a little too smarmy. But, and Brendan Gleeson, he's the Irish prison guard who gets a little too rough. There's a lot of tropes there. I don't know. It's so interesting. And is that a good, like, this movie's making me think, and I think I talk longer for goddamn Venom. This movie's making me think more than other ones, because I'm like, why didn't it work to the degree it didn't work? Like, you would have thought, was word of mouth that bad that people did not want, or just were jokered out, they didn't care? I don't know. I would have thought it would at least do better in the box office, even if the score is as low as it is, even if it is negative reviews. Because remember the first one, a lot of people were negative about the propping up of the Arthur's character, giving him like almost the defense of him. I don't know what I still don't even know exactly what an incel is, but that whole kind of thing, like, look at him. This is, like, people thinking of him as a hero, which is how the character is supposed to be seen in the movie by, sycophants, which I think I'm using that word right. The people who, imagine if there was a world where people, like, idolize and follow, a kook. Can you imagine such a thing? Well, that felt realistic. And you would have thought that, okay, award-winning, good acting. We enjoyed the first one. The first one was such a hit. It's a no-brainer that it would at least do pretty good at the box office and not lose. Maybe not be a huge hit. Maybe make its money back. Maybe break even. Maybe not enough. But to be as low as it was in box office was shocking to me. I was like, I couldn't believe it did that bad, because it's not that bad of a movie that wow, it did really this, like, it did this low. But I'm thinking just the weirdness of it. People were not connecting with it. I mean, it's fairly obvious because they didn't connect with it, and it became almost infamous for how bad it was, and how it didn't work. And I don't know. I get the negativity towards it, but I also could see some things in it that I liked. I'm like, I don't hate this. Like, I wasn't rolling my eyes. I wasn't thinking I was wasting my time. Were moments where I was like, I'm enjoying myself watching this. I'm getting something out of it. It's weird. I think, and then it goes to like, it's weird. It's weird that they did this. It seems unnecessary, especially in comparison to the first one. It seems like such a departure. But you know that after you see it, you still think people would see it and then be like, oh, I didn't really like it that much. And maybe they just were like, yeah, no thanks, I'm good. and then they passed on it. And it's like, this is the end of this Joker. I told you already, he got stab-a-dab-a-ding-donged at the end. He is, dead. Right? Obviously. I don't think, and based on the fact of the box office, even if he didn't die, there would be no Joker 3. It's done. They hit lightning in the ball with the first one. They tried something with the second one. It didn't work. Done. But Joker itself, the character of Joker, there'll always be another one. When Jack did it, they were like, you can't beat Cesar Romero. Heath did it. They're like, you can't beat Jack Nicholson. Jared Leto, like, you can't beat Heath Ledger. And they were right. Joaquin Phoenix, what about Heath Ledger? They were wrong. Let's make it a musical. They were wrong again. And then you get Barry Keoghan, right? If you don't realize, like, he was the Joker in Matt Reeves' The Batman, the Robert Pattinson one. His scenes were cut, but there was a moment with him in it. Will he be in the second one? That'll be interesting. There's no sacred cow with these characters anymore. These characters, they didn't create them. They didn't originate them. What they do is they take their source material and they put their own spin on it. So there'll always be room for other people to put their own spin on it, especially when studios want to make money off of these characters. So will we see the Joker again? We already have, and we will again. I would pretty much guarantee it. But will I watch Joker 2 again? Joker Folie? Probably not. Probably not. I haven't even watched the first one again. I don't watch a ton of movies again. So, I'm glad I watched it. I didn't hate it. I get why people didn't like it. I didn't love it. It was just like, it was just okay-ish with some okay-ish moments. And that's really it. That's kind of how I felt. I'm like, wow, this is a weird movie. And, yeah, Joker 2. Done. Boom. Happy Father's Day, Dad. Not that you're going to listen to this. You don't even know what a podcast is. Well, maybe you do, but you don't know how to get one. That I guarantee. So, yeah. Happy Father's Day to all you dads out there. That's it. I'm done. I need to go stick my face. I need to color my face like a clown and stick it on Joaquin Phoenix's head as soon as possible because it's already 10:05 p.m. on Sunday night. And I have 1 hour and 55 minutes to get this out to you to keep my streak alive of never missing a day in 12 years. Which means I'll be back again tomorrow. Now, tomorrow, I think I'm going to revisit something that I started already this month. So you can kind of gauge what that probably is or what that might be. What it might be, you're right, because it might be that or it might be that. It's one or the other. Which will it be? You'll have to wait until tomorrow to find out. The big news for me today, besides, of course, enjoying Father's Day and cooking for my daddy, was that it's nice because my brother, really nice thing, he called and said, hey, do you want to go see Back to the Future, the musical? His wife wasn't that interested in it, but his daughter wants to go see it. Do you want to go? We can, the tickets are, they were fairly expensive. And he goes, if you want to pay half of it, we'll pay the other half. That'll be a birthday gift and we'll go. And I've wanted to see Back to the Future the musical since it came out. But my wife wants to see it too. And I was like, oh, I think we're going to go together. But that was a reminder. So then I went home immediately and got tickets for me and my wife. And let me put it this way. The tickets I got, when put together, were the same price as I think half the ticket that he was getting. So he's going to have way better seats than me. He will probably smell the gasoline in the DeLorean. I assume there's no gasoline in that, but you know what I mean. Where I'll be like, which one's Marty? Which one's Doc? And that's exactly how I'm going to say it all the way back in the balcony. But I don't care because in July, I am going to see Back to the Future, the musical, which means we pretty much definitely will get a Marty McFly Summer Spectacular episode on July 13th. which is a month from 2 days ago. I can't wait. July is going to be crazy for me because in 1 week span, on July 11th, going to see Superman. So you're going to get an episode there. Silver Screen Superman coming back. July 13th, going to Back to the Future. So you're going to get Marty McFly in July. July McFly? Interesting. And then that Monday night, then the following week, my wife and I are going to Maine for the weekend. That Monday, going to see Ghost in concert. If you don't know Ghost, my goodness gracious, look them up. And then that whole week, I'm out on vacation. So, I mean, God, what a 2 week span. I'm excited. But that's next month. We're still in June. We're still, in movie month. And we just hit the top of the mountain. Not in the quality of movie because, say what you want. This wasn't my favorite movie not even close to my favorite movie of the month. But it is day 15, which means there's only 15 days to go. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. We're halfway there, living on a prayer. Take my heart, we'll make it. I swear. Day 15. I will see you tomorrow, my friends. In the meantime, you can follow me on all the socials at Geek Mentality, except TikTok, which is Geek Mentality Mike. On Facebook, the Facebook page is Fans.Experts. On YouTube, the YouTube channel is Fans.Experts. That's because everything I do can be found at Fans.Experts.com. That's it. I'm done. I will see you tomorrow, my friends. But until then, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Do you want to hear a joke? No, you don't. And here is my theme song.
This is my podcast, I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe. 'Cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time. And I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode.
Fans not experts. That the joke was on